Alright, so this is 13.3, and we're going to be talking about points, coordinate points versus a circle equation. And you should be able, given a equation of a circle and some coordinate points, be able to identify if those points are on a circle, inside the circumference of a circle, on the circumference of a circle, or outside the circumference of that circle. Okay, so say we're given a circle, and the equation of that circle we'll say is, oops, I'm just trying to pencil little marks there. We'll say is, for instance, x plus 4, that's going to be our hx statement, squared, plus y minus 3. Yeah, that sounds good. Quantity squared equals 36. Right, so if that equals 36, that isn't a squared thing, right? That equals 6 squared, right? So that equals 6 squared, so that means that our radius is 6. Right, so what can we deduce from this? That means that our center point, is -4 for x and +3 for y, with a radius of 6. Radius squared equals 6. Okay? So if we have, for instance, we're going to plug in some x and y values, and then we're going to solve, and we're going to compare it to 36, which is our radius squared. And if our h and k are our x and y values that we plug in into our h and k statements, if our x and y values that we plug in, or the coordinates that we plug in, are greater than, so this side of the equation is greater than this side of the equation, then it is outside. Okay? If x and y are equal to r, it is on the circumference. And then if x and y are less than r, it's inside. Right? So those are the different relationships that exist when you plug some stuff in. Okay, so let's look at, keep this out here. Let's look at the first point that we were going to talk about. First point, we'll say, I'm going to pause this.
Good morning, Yulee High School. Following teachers.
All right, so the first one we're going to talk about is, we'll say -8. Our x value is -8, and the y value is -2. -2. Right, so we're going to plop in -8 for x, and -8 for x. So it's -8 plus 4 is that term, and then -2 for that term, and we're going to compare that to 36. Right, so -4 minus 4 is -8 minus 4 is -4. We're going to square that. That's going to become 16, plus -2 minus 3 is -5, which is -5, and we're going to square that. That turns it into it turns into 25, and that does not equal 36, but it equals, let's see, 25, 16 and 25, 16 plus 25 equals 41, so that is greater than 36, so it's going to be outside. So if we look at it, and it's like -8, this is -4, -8, and then this is +3, so -2 would be like somewhere over here. So that would be like somewhere over there-ish, okay? All right, so then we'll look at another one. Let's flip the card, I guess. I'm wasting cards. All right, the next one we'll say is like say is -3, -3, comma, -1. Okay, so we just plug in our values. This is going to be x, whoops, not x, it's going to be -3. -3 plus 4 squared plus -1 minus 3 squared, and we're going to compare it to 36. Right, so this is going to be, let's see, -3 plus, it's going to be -2 squared. This is going to be 4 plus -2 squared. -2, well, no, it's going to be -4 squared, excuse me, it's going to be -4 squared, right, which is going to be 16, right, so 14, did I do that right? Let's see, -3 plus 4 is 1, yep, -3, that's going to be 17, wait, is that 17? No, it's going to be -3 squared plus 1, wait, oh, plus 4, that's wrong, plus 4, okay, yeah, -3 squared plus 4, I made an error there. Alright, so -3 plus 4 is -1, okay, which is going to be 1 squared, so that's going to be 17. That's going to be 17, which is less than 36. So it's going to be inside. All right, so if you look at negative, this is -4, -3, right? It's going to be like close, and then -1 would be like I don't know, would be like let's see, -3, and then -1 would be like right here-ish, I guess. Okay. And then the last one we do is -4 and -3. Alright, so we just plug those in here. That makes that 0, and then that makes that -3 minus 3 is -6, which squared equals 36. Right, so that would be right there on the circumference. So -4 would be right here on the x-axis, and then -3 would be like, I don't know, like right here-ish, I guess. Yeah, that would be right about there. Okay, so that's how you determine if it's on, inside, or outside the circumference. One last thing, if you needed to figure out how to find the distance between 2 points using the circle equation, all you have to do is take the radius is the distance between those 2 points on the circle equation, right? You have the 2 points, you're given the x and the y, right? All you have to do is set that radius there, right? And then put those 2 points in between here, right? And use that radius, that 2 points of the circle equation, to act like the radius, right? So just rearrange this, right? Have the x values and the y values, right? And set it like that, right? Set the change in x plus the change in y. Take the square root of that, right? And that will be your 2 points. Right? So that's how you figure out that. Okay, so here's an example. So say I have 2 points. Right, I have -6, or we'll do -3 and -1, and I have another point, and it's we'll use burgundy. Okay, I have -9 and -9. Okay, and we'll see what the 2 points are. Right, so it's going to be the distance between those 2 points is going to be the square root of, and we'll do the x values, which will be -3 minus 9, that's this one and that one, plus squared, plus the -1 minus 9, which is this one and this one. This one and this one, right? Quantity squared. Alright, so that's going to be the square root of -12 squared plus -10 squared, which is 144 squared plus 100 squared. So that's 244. Sorry, get rid of those squares here. So that's the square root of equals the square root of 244. So the square root of 244 is -3 minus -3. Oh, hold on a second. Right, so that's going to be minus. This should be a plus, and this should be a plus because it's minus a negative. This is minus a negative, so it's going to be -3 plus 9. So it's going to be -6. Excuse me about that. Sorry about that. So it's going to be. This is going to be negative. This is going to be -6 squared plus -8 squared. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so now, so it's good. Remember, these are negatives, right? So it's going to be minus the positives. It's going to be opposite the signs, right? So it's going to be 64 plus 36 squared. Square root of 36 plus 64. 36 plus 64 is 100. Square root of 100 is 10. Right? So there you go. That's how you do that one. If you have any questions, let me know.